Welcome to Dark Fragments, where the darkest corners of real life are exposed. Today I bring you a story that starts off strangely innocent, even a little funny. An American sailor, driving a Jeep with a custom front license plate that read, "Baby Doll." At first glance you might think, oh, that's cute. Must be a sweetheart, right? Yeah, not even close. That plate would soon become the symbol of something far more sinister. John Eric Armstrong would later be known as the Baby Doll Killer. And I promise you, this story is more disturbing than you could possibly imagine. A childhood built on horror. John Eric Armstrong was born in 1973 in North Carolina, United States. From the very beginning, his life was surrounded by pain and violence. His biological father was a violent and abusive man, but not just physically. He was emotionally and psychologically cruel. He would beat John's mother mercilessly and often turned that same rage toward young John himself. But it wasn't just beatings. The emotional abuse, the constant living in fear, the mental scars, were the kind of wounds that never fully heal. When John was just 5 years old, tragedy struck the family like a thunderbolt. His baby brother Michael died suddenly at only 2 months old, a victim of sudden infant death syndrome, PSYDS. The event shattered what was left of John's fragile world. The trauma was so overwhelming that, believe it or not, at just 5 years old, John attempted to take his own life, a child. So desperate to escape his reality, that ending his life felt like the only option. Shortly after, his abusive father abandoned the family, leaving behind a broken wife and a psychologically scarred boy. A disturbed teenage mind. John's teenage years were no better. The lack of emotional support, the absence of a father figure, and the mounting trauma turned him into an isolated, withdrawn young man. One incident from his adolescence speaks volumes about his mental state. He locked himself in a school bathroom for hours, terrified. Not from bullies, but while trying to escape the sexual advances of a girl. The level of panic was so intense that it led to hospitalization. It was a red flag the size of a billboard. But like so many other warnings in his life, it was brushed aside. No real psychological intervention came. No therapy. No help. Just silence. And in that silence, something dark was quietly growing inside John Eric Armstrong. A life in uniform, hiding in plain sight. In 1992, at 19 years old, John made a life-altering decision. He enlisted in the U.S. Navy. Maybe it was an attempt to run from his past, or maybe it was a way to hide in plain sight. To his fellow sailors, John was confusing. Some described him as moody, irritable. Others saw him as a gentle giant, friendly, helpful, someone you could count on. They even gave him a nickname, Op, inspired by the wholesome character from the classic show, The Andy Griffith Show. Think about it. John served aboard the legendary aircraft carrier USS Nimitz for 7 years. During his time in the Navy, he was promoted 4 times, praised for his dedication and discipline. To anyone looking from the outside, Armstrong was the picture of someone who'd turned his life around. A man serving his country, a model sailor. But inside, the storm was brewing. The baby doll plate, a clue to darkness. When he wasn't wearing his Navy uniform, John drove around in a black Jeep with a custom license plate that simply read, "Baby Doll." At first, it might seem harmless. Maybe it's an inside joke. Maybe it's a nickname for a girlfriend. Maybe it's just random. But it wasn't random at all. That plate was a symbol. A dark, twisted reflection of the horrors that were about to unfold. Because baby doll was the term John used to refer to his victims. While serving in different ports around the world, John developed a dark obsession, targeting sex workers. But it wasn't about companionship or intimacy. No, for John, it was about control, power, domination, death. Once his naval career ended, he unleashed the full force of his darkness. One by one, women began disappearing. Bodies were found, sometimes strangled, sometimes dumped near water, sometimes so brutalized that even seasoned detectives were left haunted by what they saw. And yet, for years, John Eric Armstrong evaded capture. His background, his clean-cut military image, his boy-next-door persona, it all served as the perfect mask. A mask hiding a monster. This is only the beginning. The story of how John Eric Armstrong was finally caught, the investigation, the trial, the confessions, and the horrifying number of victims is something you won't believe until you hear it. Do you want me to bring you part 2, the capture and the chilling details of his crimes? Let me know in the comments. Smash that like button, even if it's just a creepy little emoji, and subscribe to Dark Fragments, where the shadows tell stories. And the truth is often darker than fiction.